Have you ever been part of a project that felt, well, outdated the moment it finally launched? Or maybe one that just couldn't keep up with a single new idea? We've all been there. Today, we're going to demystify Agile. It's this really powerful, flexible approach that's designed to solve exactly those problems. So let's dive in.
You know the story. A project kicks off with this giant, perfect plan. But by the time it's finally delivered, months or even years later, the world has changed, the market has shifted, and the final product just feels a little disconnected from reality. It's that exact frustration that led to a whole new way of thinking.
And what you're seeing here really shows the fundamental difference. On the left, you've got the traditional waterfall method. It's totally linear, super rigid. You plan every single thing up front, and then you lock it in. But Agile, on the right, is all about cycles. It's adaptive. Instead of one giant launch at the very end, you work in these small, iterative cycles, constantly learning and adjusting as you go. The goal isn't to have a perfect plan from day one, it's to make real, tangible progress.
So picture this. It's 2001. A group of software developers, totally fed up with the old rigid way of doing things, all got together. They knew that in the fast-moving world of tech, the waterfall approach just wasn't cutting it. They weren't just looking for a new process or a new set of rules. They wanted a completely new philosophy, a better way to build things that customers would actually love. And what they came up with was, honestly, revolutionary.
And that something they created was the Agile Manifesto. Now, this isn't some huge, complicated rulebook. Think of it more like a compass. It's just 4 core values that guide the entire Agile mindset, and they totally reprioritize what truly matters when it comes to getting great work done.
The first value is an absolute game changer. It basically says that while, processes and tools are important, the people actually doing the work and how they communicate with each other, that matters so much more. I mean, think about it. A brilliant team that collaborates and talks to each other is always going to outperform a team that's just blindly following a rigid process in silence.
Okay, this next value is all about tangible results. Agile doesn't say documentation is useless, not at all, but it prioritizes a product that actually works as the true measure of progress. Because at the end of the day, what's more valuable? A product that your customers can use, or a perfect 100-page manual for a product that's broken?
This one completely changes the relationship with the customer. Instead of treating them like an outsider you haggle with and sign a rigid contract with up front, you bring them in. You make them a true partner in the process. Agile teams are constantly collaborating with the customer. And it's that continuous feedback loop that ensures the final product is actually something they need and want.
And here we go. This is the absolute heart and soul of Agile. We live in a world where things change constantly, right? Better ideas pop up, priorities shift. Blindly sticking to an old plan is just a recipe for failure. Agile teams don't see change as a problem to be avoided. They see it as an opportunity to make the product even better. With Agile, flexibility is a feature, not a flaw.
Okay, so that's the philosophy, the big idea. But you're probably asking, how does any of this actually work in the real world? So let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine that turns these values into a powerful system for getting things done.
At the very core of most Agile frameworks is something called the sprint. You can basically think of it as a mini project with a fixed deadline, usually somewhere between 1 and 4 weeks. During that time, the team commits to finishing a specific chunk of work. And, this is the key, at the end they deliver a tangible, usable piece of the final product.
Every single sprint follows the same consistent rhythm. It all starts with planning, which is where the team decides what they're going to tackle. Then comes the main event, the build and test phase where the work actually happens. After that, the team holds a sprint review to show stakeholders what they've accomplished. And finally, and this is so crucial, they have a retrospective to talk about what went well, what didn't, and how they can improve in the next sprint. It's a built-in learning cycle.
Now, to keep that cycle on track every single day, teams have what you might call a daily pulse check, the daily stand-up. It's a super quick, 15-minute meeting designed to keep everyone perfectly aligned and to clear out any roadblocks before they become huge problems.
The real power of the stand-up is just how simple it is. Each person on the team answers just these 3 questions. This is not a long, boring status report meeting. Nope. It's a rapid-fire sync-up that creates a ton of transparency and makes sure problems get tackled right away.
Now, as we've said, Agile is really a mindset. But to put that mindset into action, teams use specific frameworks. The best way to think of these is like different toolboxes, and each one has its own set of practices and tools designed to bring those Agile principles to life.
Two of the most popular frameworks you'll hear about are Scrum and Kanban. Scrum, with its fixed-length sprints, gives teams a really predictable rhythm, which is fantastic for things like product development. Kanban, on the other hand, is all about continuous flow. It uses a visual board to manage work as it moves along. It's often a favorite for teams, like in support or operations, that need to constantly respond to new requests as they come in.
And if we zoom in on Scrum, you'll see it's very specific about who does what. You have the product owner, who is basically the voice of the customer. They decide what gets built. Then there's the Scrum Master, who's like the team's coach, focused on how the team works together. And of course, the development team, they're the experts who actually build the product. This clear division of labor just cuts out so much confusion and lets everyone focus on what they do best.
So we've covered the philosophy and the practice, but let's get down to it. What's the real-world impact? Why are so many organizations, from tiny tech startups to massive global corporations, all making the shift to this way of working?
Well, the benefits are pretty clear. Those short sprints mean you're delivering real value to your customers way faster. The constant feedback loops mean you can adapt to change almost instantly. And all those little rituals, like stand-ups and retrospectives, they drive transparency and create a culture of continuous improvement. And all of that leads to the most important outcome of all, a better product and much, much happier customers.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. Agile is not just a method for software teams. It is a mindset. It's all about collaboration, adaptation, and making steady progress. So the real question isn't just where in your work you could apply it, it's where couldn't you? Think about your own projects, your personal goals. What's one small thing you could start, test out, and improve on tomorrow?